Hi everyone, welcome back to Gears the Simracing podcast. I'm your host Ving, and today we have another guest on our list. Nothing more than Hiltre, a Portuguese brand most famous for their socks. You may ask me why socks and what that is related to sim racing or even to the racing part of the channel. We try to get more connected to racing in any type of our feelings, and sometimes this using a type of memorabilia like socks, like shirts, or any type of thing connected to the racing brings that memory and that doping to our racing and to our sim racing environment. First of all, thank you to Hiltre to be part of the podcast, and apologize because the podcast was to be released September, but unfortunately due to a lot of problems that I had I could not release it. So I think now is the perfect time. Christmas is coming, and nothing better than give you a lot of options for you to choose in terms of Christmas presents. So if you have a family member or a friend that is connected to sim racing or racing overall, listen to this podcast because you're gonna love what you're gonna find it, and you're gonna see a lot of ideas for your next presents. So without any further, let's jump on the podcast.
Hi, morning. Thank you, Hugo, for inviting me.
So, talk us a little bit about what is the company, how came the idea of create Hiltre?
Okay. So I had a shoe business before, and I wanted to get into the sock business, and I wanted to do cool socks with cool patterns, but not flamingos and pineapples like Happy Socks does. And me and my partner were really crazy guys about cars. So one of our designers just said, why don't you use the patterns of cars? They're so colorful, so different. There's such a big community behind it, makes all sense. So we tried it like a test drive because we wanted to do a lot more collections that we do now with our umbrella brand Sock Affairs. So now we have collections for art, music, gaming, and motors, still the biggest one. But we started as a test to see how it will go, and we wanted to duplicate into other categories really, really fast. The thing is, it went well. At the beginning, it didn't went so well. So we did a crowdfunding, expecting to sell about 20,000 euros, and we sold 2. And I'm almost sure 90% were for our friends and family. So it was a disaster. We spent about 6 months working on it, doing videos. You can still find the video on YouTube now. It's a little bit embarrassing. But at the end, that didn't work. So we put the socks on some stores in Lisbon. That worked a little bit, but we saw that the biggest customers were foreigners, Portuguese. They don't like colorful socks, and it was in the summer, so it was too hot. And we spent 3 months.
To be fair, I think he's right.
I'm not wearing socks now, so
I think. To be fair, I'm using your socks from I think quite old, from United Autosport.
So those are old. Yeah,
I think it's 2019. I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Really, really old one. But yeah, a part of the socks from you guys, I don't use any. Normally it's black socks. It's easy. If you lost a pair,
I was a dark blue and black socks. So, if the light wasn't good, I couldn't distinguish both socks. the only 2 colors I had. So this was a major change for me.
Yeah, exactly.
But we tried to get into retail in Europe, especially in Spain, France, in the UK. It was before Brexit, and we didn't have any success. So almost before quitting, we just put 500 euros into Facebook ads, and I was not a digital marketing expert. We just put some ads with the socks to car guys, and it took fire. So it went nuts. So we did 300K the first year, and we doubled our revenue every month. So it was really, really crazy. It really worked. And the fun thing is that retailers then, with the advertising, came to us and a lot of teams to do collaboration. So I have a cool example. My partner's girlfriend went to Miami, and she found the coolest car place. So it was a vintage cars and vintage guitar store. So it couldn't be more perfect. Especially, it was focused on European cars. That in the United States, not that usual. And we said, we need to be on this store. It makes total sense. And we sent about 10,000 emails. We called it Right Everything. 2 months later, I got an email from those guys. Hey, I bought your socks on I saw your socks on Facebook, bought some pairs. I love it. I wanted to have it in the store. So the world works in mysterious ways, and that worked out really good for us.
Exactly.
And we're now 5 years old. So it seemed like yesterday that we were trying to see where it goes, and we only had 20 different pairs designs at the beginning, and now we have, I think, more than 400. So that was the basic story. And we started exploring other
Yeah.
things like everything with a motor. So engines, motorbikes, boats, and it really works. People, I think a guy who likes cars, likes all mechanical machines, from watches to airplanes to everything with moving parts, bicycles. And we are doing that. So people ask us to do vintage cycling bikes from the Tour de France and stuff like that. There's some crazy requests from customers. We had a guy that spent 3 years just bombing us to do some Maserati socks, and we finally did. I hope he's happy. But it's a lot of fun to work with your passion. So I love cars. I'm a really car fanatic, big petrol head. So for me, this is a dream come true.
I think it's the same thing with me. I think I don't know. It's some liveries that live with us, that we born see them. And now you can have them on your feet. It's kind of cool, you know. So you guys send me 10 pairs for my fundraising about my cancer, and to help me, and we put them on the prizes, and everyone was happy. One of the guys, I think, was the E30. He have a E30, so he put straight away the socks. Was there driving his 30 with
Yeah.
the socks? Say it's one of the cool things, and I think it's that when that for us sometimes any type of memorabilia or anything that you're gonna put us near the car is that. And let me ask you how it works with deliveries. So where all you guys can do deliveries, if you are free to do a little bit, if you have to contact the companies before, I'll work all that process.
We have many different approaches. So most of our collection is inspired by the cars, so they're not an official product. So we do
Okay.
deliveries. They are usually the oldest classical ones, and we do a pattern by us inspired on that car. So that's our usual. And I think, to be honest, it's a big appeal to people, because you were talking about wearing the socks. Socks are a great merchandise, and the biggest difference is, on a work day, you're wearing a Golf McLaren shirt. If you go to work, usually you don't use shirts like that, right? You're a little more discreet, but you can use the socks.
Exactly.
You can use the socks every day. So when you buy them, there's no guilt on buying something you know you're not going to use often. So that's the big secret about socks. And when, for example, I was a black and dark black, dark blue and black guy socks. And now
Yeah.
every day when I put a pair of socks, I choose the socks according with the day that I'm going to have. So it's a arts day, a music day. So and it really colors, and it really makes a difference if you're wearing some cool socks. And we used that. That was the I'm forgetting the name. The call sign. It's not the call sign, but from my previous company was conspicuously inconspicuous, and the socks have that. So if you're
Okay.
wearing an E30 socks, 99% of the people, you are wearing striped socks. But the guys who like cars,
Yeah.
they're going immediately. That's M.
Automatic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's M socks, and it makes a total difference. We prefer not to use big logos and do merchandise, because if not, it's just a merchandise object, and we don't want to do that. So it's for the true petrol heads, as we call them, and it makes a total difference. And the small details are really amazing. And I have to thank Andre, our designer, because he's the true petrol head. He's the guy that schools us. He knows
Okay.
everything, and he goes and he does a lot of research every time he needs to do a sock design. And there's some really amazing details on every livery, on even on old military liveries. So we did a World War One pack with the Red Baron and all the aces from all the countries. And there's a detail on the Italian ace. He had the prancing horse on his airplane, and that's the same horse that Ferrari and Enzo used when he created the company. So these details, for
Okay.
example, I was a petrol head, but I never knew about the story of the pink pig. And when I saw it, it was amazing. So it was a big hit. I had a big bet with my partner. He was saying this is not going to sell, and I said this is going to be a hit, and it was an instant hit. People love it, and it's just
I think he is that car. Even if you go to sim racing, is one of the favorites in the sim racing community.
He
Is
never
that
won anything.
the livery?
It's not a special
Exactly.
car besides delivery.
And now going to be the Porsche. I forgot now who is driving it with the T-Rex. I don't know if you saw it. Was on the green.
We are seeing if we can do that. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Okay, you see, that's gonna be another hit. It's gonna be a really
Like the Nielsen Racing, the Day of the Dead ones.
yeah.
The Day of the Dead of from Nielsen Racing that we did. The details are the dogs on the car are the dogs from the three drivers. So we loved it, and I want to also thank Elena from Nielsen to making that happen. She's a big fan of the brand and helps us a lot. And creating these details is a lot of fun for us. It's really cool.
That's funny. I think in terms of liveries, my favorite from you, I'm a big fan of all the types of motorsport, but rally, I think rally is one of the pinnacles of motorsport in terms of speed and dexterity, and all the guys, they have the balls on the place to do it what they do a lot of the time. And
Group B.
my wife, yeah, my wife is from Estonia, so automatic as you guys drop the Auto Tanak with the M Sport from Ford automatic.
Yeah,
She bought it and she's been using
yeah.
it non-stop. But yeah, you're right in when you say that Portugal is not a country of funky socks. You are a country from socks. We love our socks and we have very good quality socks. We have retailers just for socks that sometimes you don't see in other countries. Just a retailer, just a shop just selling socks. But we don't have that daily use of have funky socks, for example, as you see on UK, and when you go on underground, you see everyone, you sit down and you look around, everyone,
And you can see people 80 years old.
exactly, everyone have some type of funky socks. And it's funny that I've been seeing a lot of people on the underground using sometimes liveries and socks from you guys, and automatic you can see that, oh, this is from Hiltre, because the way, the shapes.
I when I see that,
Yeah,
I get really
because
happy.
even
It's one of the best things you can do. Is I see someone with my socks. I was in a music festival, and I saw some guys with the music from our music collection, and I was so happy. And I was
yeah.
in the Portugal Rally, and I saw a guy with the Scooby socks, and for me, it's perfect. It always makes me smile. Yeah.
Yeah, and probably one of the most funny things is, for example, when the person is driving the car, or we go to a meeting, and have the socks of the livery, and after found the same car there. I think Joana Fidalgo probably is one of the biggest that always appear on Instagram. I think Joana always have loads of parts, and I don't know how she do it. Every time she go to a car meeting, she have the sock from the car that is there.
She plans it. She plans it. Yeah. Oh, well, but I'm going to tell the best ones I get. I cannot share them. There are guys that really have
I imagine.
the crazy expensive cars, and I received a lot of photos from guys with cars that are worth millions of dollars of pounds, or have millions. And it's so cool when they send it. They are fans of the brands and they like to share it. And I get that really makes me happy.
And in terms of partnerships, what will come now for the future with you guys? More drivers, as we've been seeing now with the latest rallies.
Yeah, we have some classic stuff coming up. Yeah, Hyundai we just closed. We have some vintage British brands that we are doing some really cool socks. Um, and we are going to launch some Evil Knievel socks, official Evil Knievel socks
Okay.
in a couple of weeks. They're really, really cool. Evil Knievel just jumping into with a motorcycle. And we are closing a part. This is okay. This will run in September. So we are going to do BRM socks, British Racing Motors, and the design is amazing. I don't usually don't say that, but we work together with them, and they are really, really cool. And we are closing a partnership with, let's say, the biggest motorsport equipment brand in the world. Let's say they're Italian. I think I can say it all. And it's going to be a really cool one. Yeah, so we are really, really happy with the partnerships closing in Hiltre. It's a big the one with that brand is something we wanted to do since day one, and now I think it finally materialized. Let me see what we have more in the pipeline. So, if I'm not forgetting anything.
Anything with Le Mans? Because you guys have the last edition from the 100 years, or the special edition.
Yeah, we'll surely do. We'll surely do something with Le Mans next year. We don't know what. And the partnership with M Sports is going really, really well. So we want to explore that. So we'll have surely the new livery socks by the end of the year. We want to close some new pilots. We're looking. We have a very cool one with a BMW team that we are closing right now. And we want to redo some of the old classics, some of the ones that are not that successful or people just bought it and now. So we have a huge list. The list that we have is more than 100 things that we want to do. And every year we close, we do the planning, and my designer Andre always gets a little bit sad because there's some things you always want to do, but we get new partnerships, cooler things that crawl up, and he doesn't get to do the classics that he likes. So, for example, we want to do a Texaco livery, and we have the guy with the Texaco Cosworth that we can do the photos and everything, and we are postponing that because we have so many cool things that just get in the way. So our biggest block is we don't have enough design capacity, and our design team is tripled in the last couple of years to do everything we want. So that's the big bottleneck.
Yeah, but sometimes when you have too much diversity after, it's a little bit difficult to please everyone. So you have always to go.
Yeah. So no, we discontinue. Yeah, we discontinue a lot of products, and people get sad sometimes. But it was a guy was asking, I don't know for what livery that we discontinued. I don't recall, but things sometimes are not the best sellers, and we just put them on the freezer and get them back. So we are doing a rerun of the Alpine ones now. So we're just, but you're right. Too much. If I have 500 different socks on the website, people don't. It's very hard to choose.
Yeah, and in terms of deliveries, I always see that you guys don't have so much, for example, related with the normal Formula One or probably Formula One from the 2000s. That's is due to some blockage. It's a little bit difficult to do it, or
it's dangerous.
Small break in the podcast just to quickly talk about this, sponsors and how you can support the channel. First of all, you can support the channel through a Patreon. You know that half of the Patreon is shared with Games with Cancer, so please guys, have a look on that. And if you are listening on audio, scroll up, click on the 5 stars, let us know what you like about the podcast. If you are on video, you know the deal. Click on the like button, subscribe the channel, and keep supporting. We are almost on 500 followers on the channel, so really, really good and quite important to raise that level. And you probably don't know, but now you have a Discord channel, so you can go to the Discord channel, upload it, the link gonna be on the bio, and click and join us there too. You know that this podcast could not be brewed without the support of the Samsung I've been using the Samsung 49-inch OLED monitor on the last days on the podcast and been helping a lot on the production, on the gaming setup with the 240 Hz. And very soon will come to the channel a review where we will talk all about the monitor and explain a little bit more about it. So guys, keep an eye close.
Oh, my dream is to sponsor the Haas F1 team. It's one of my dreams.
Okay.
And to have Gunther with my socks, that's my dream. And
Why has?
because I love Gunther and love the underdog. I love Kevin Magnussen. I love
Okay.
what all the things that they did. They're for me the coolest team in the Formula One grid. And they are also the cheapest, I hope. So it's but
Yeah,
even
probably.
if they were the most expensive,
If we go talking about
I would still love to do Haas team. The old from the 2000s, we did some the Benettons and something the Jordans. Didn't sell that much.
Yeah.
We wanted to do a West
Really? I'm
McLaren's,
quite
one of my
surprised.
favorite.
Yeah, I was to speak about that one because I think 98 McLaren or even after the 2000s, they are quite cool.
What's
Cool
the 98
livery.
McLaren?
The black
I'm not.
gray, yeah, the black gray.
The West. It was West McLaren, exactly. Yeah. No, that's one of the most beautiful ones, and we'll probably do that. But licensing and tobacco, it's always complicated. We have the McLaren inspired ones, so we need to tread carefully, as the name says, to not step. And people, brands enjoy it. We know that the big brands love our brands. We do some work with them that we cannot share with the big brands. But we need to do it carefully to avoid any problem. But West McLaren is definitely. Which other ones would you like?
Oh man, it's so many, man. If I started, I would say
Just say
now
three.
the flip up Kerk with the Acura. I think the Acura, but it's the modern times. The blue and black, I think is really beautiful. The Acura IMSA, I think is such a nice car. With tons of white.
Okay.
You already make with United Motorsport. I would like to see one with Felix da Costa when he was a Citroën, but now he left Citroën with the Porsche. I don't know if the Porsche would be, but yeah, it's the West as we speak, the McLaren 98, and probably if I would go to rally, I think you guys already captivate everything on rally. It's nothing on rally.
Yeah, I'm a rally guy. I'm a Group B guy.
That I don't remember any car on rally that you guys done nothing. You have the Corolla, you have the Celica, you have the Integrale, of course. Similar, we have all the Group B. Yeah, you have all the Group B, even Group A. You have the Scooby as you talk it. You have almost everyone on rally. And rally, I think, is nothing that we can say always missing. But probably the 4 with Colin McRae. When Colin McRae moved to the 4, I don't remember. You guys have done it. Oh, okay. all right. So we see things are coming. But let me ask you: did you have any problems already with any brand that you release it and after they say, "Oh, you cannot use this livery"?
We have a crazy. I'll tell you the only problem we had with one brand. It was a crazy digital issue. So on our website, we had the socks and we had 3 miniature cars that we bought. And one of the miniature cars had the Martini logo on it. Really, they were the socks and it had the Martini logo. It was a full livery. It was the RSR with a full livery that we bought from one of the toy companies. And they had the Martini livery. And Martini has bots that run the internet, seeing where their stripes are applied, and there is no licensing. So we got flagged by the car, and then they flagged it because they have the stripes patterns, the stripes, different colors and everything. You can only use it with Martini. And that was the only issue that we had with their lawyers, and we wanted to do official socks. But as you know, Martini only works with Porsche and Sparco. They're the only two companies that have official licensing merge with Martini, Martini Motors, Martini Sport. And that's the only issue we had. No, we had no other issue. We have socks signed by Walter Roll. We have crazy things that we sent to the Porsche head office. It's crazy. People love stocks, so and cars. They're not. For example, music. It was a lot more complicated. We now have a true official collection that we struggle a lot to get it. So we wanted to pay, and that's not the issue. But to close the deals is very complicated, as we were a small company. We're not no.
Mhm.
We're still small, but not that small. And now we can close deals like we did with M Sports, like we did with Hyundai, like we are going to do with a lot of ones.
And you, as you fan of rally, let me only ask you this one, because how you see the rally in these modern times? How you think is the way how WRC is approaching everything? If he's keeping, because I feel that they keeping putting the people away a little bit in some terms. You know, I don't see the captivation that we have from early 2000s, and that is
How old are
translated to the
you,
rally games
Hugo?
too.
How old are you?
34,
So I'm
34.
45. So I grew up seeing Colin McRae and Carlos Sainz crashing and with
Exactly.
Sega rally machines everywhere. And I think we'll never get that back. Formula One, I didn't like Formula One. I like the cars and the liveries, everything, but I didn't follow Formula One until they did Drive to Survive. And now
Okay.
I'm a big fan. And they changed the way people see it because they put people behind the drivers. And now you can see all the petty competition and everything, and that's like a soap opera, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
I have some daughters from friends of mine that really love Formula One and see all the races, and that's not why. It's not because they like motorsport. This because they find the drivers pretty, they like their style or something
Yeah.
like that. So, and I think the charisma from rally drivers also dropped, or they don't know how to communicate that. The cars are so fast. It's freaking impressive. I went to see the Portuguese rally. Did the show stages, and it's
Yep.
really impressive. But I don't know. The magic is not there. Something because it sort of is a negative spiral. They don't have the big teams there. Also, they have only two polarizing teams. The other ones are just.
Yep.
It's even complicated to follow because I need that. Sometimes you have the same team is running the year's cars and then past year's cars. It looks like not state of the art. For example, Hyundai and had very different levels. Even M Sport had different levels. You have the Pumas, and they're still running the Fiestas. Doesn't make much sense. You should have only two
And
cars from each team, like Formula One and like the rally was. I think I'm not sure. I
exactly.
was
Yeah.
not the technical guy. Um,
Yeah, but
so and
yeah,
that's
he's missing something. Yeah, you say the Drive to Survive. I keep saying I think WRC needs to have American touch, like Formula One had it, because Drive to Survive, have
for
is
me.
that American soap opera.
It was an amazing marketing coup, and they were
Yeah,
lucky with the drivers. Now they're also lucky because Verstappen is a very talented guy, but he's the bad guy. He always be the
yeah.
bad guy, and Lewis Hamilton is the good guy. And they always have these things, and people love these stories. It's like Spider-Man and what's the name of the foe? It's
Green
always
Goblin or something like this.
yeah. So it's always good and bad, and they made it on every level. There's a good and bad. There's the funny guy. That's Ricardo.
Yeah,
I think if I didn't know that was you need a lot of talent to drive like that, I was sure it was a casting they did because it's perfect.
yeah.
There's
I
no
think they they
playing
they
guy. There's only
explore
play
it
guy.
very well.
Yeah, the guy that I don't know the name, the Williams guy. That's the only playing guy driving there. Um,
Album, album or
no, the other one.
Sergeant.
Album. Yeah,
Uh,
Sargent.
no, it was
Yeah,
Latifi, the old one. Yeah, Sergeant. Yeah,
Latifi. Yeah, yeah. And that's the only ones I don't know. So for rally, I think the big egos, it was the golden era because, and I stopped
yeah,
when McKinnon, and I think I stopped seeing rallying when Colin McRae died, to be honest. And everything just turned less interesting. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe I'm
I was
old.
the same
It's
thing.
like music. To be honest, I cannot. I'm not. I'm based on this because it's like music. When you get older, only the good. music from your time is the best one. So people start to change.
Yeah.
But I do. The true thing is that's facts. I do see Formula One and I do follow Formula One now, and I never did before in my life. And if I did something with the same thing is with MotoGP. I love MotoGP on the good old days, but now the teams are so similar and the races are so complex that we have 10 races and 10 different winners. And that is not good for the sport because you need to have a favorite one and see he evolved. And it's just too chaotic. And I think that should be a balance on sports like that, at least. I see it more like a marketing opportunity.
I stopped seeing. I always follow rally, but after I think I would say 2010, I stopped follow so like every rally as I was doing. And one of the things was because one time was Sebastian Loeb was winning everything. After come Sebastian Ogier and was winning
Yeah.
everything and was nothing new. And after you see the brands dropping, the Volkswagen was such a cool car, and after drop, now it's just like you say, just Hyundai and Toyota, and the M Sport is not a manufacturer; it's just they're just doing their own thing, and it's missing more brands. We need to go back to the cool brands. But now moving from motorsport to sim racing, what's your thoughts on sim racing?
Let me just finish on motorsports. So the only thing I follow since I remember, it's the Dakar Rally.
Okay.
Every year for me, I see it every day. I see all the, and I love off road. I do off road on motorcycles, and it's my favorite sport, and I really love it. But they did knew how to put it and how to edit it. So every day you don't have 1 hour of footage. You have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's easy to digest. And you have 3 minutes cars, 3 minutes trucks, 3 minutes bikes.
Exactly.
And they really know how to edit and to get they always talk about the three guys that win the stage, but then they choose two guys that are back in the real guy, the average Joe. That's why I think that Dakar is the appeal that I have the dream if I have a lot of time and effort and money to do it, and I can do it. Formula One, I'm absolutely sure I'll never do it. And I think they kept that appeal.
Oh, no, maybe I think nobody will
Yeah,
do it.
so I think they kept the appeal, and they know how to edit and to show. Even if I got really mad that they moved for money as everything to Saudi Arabia, I still watch it. So I think that's the biggest proof. I love the classic Dakar. I love the South America, but then everything is going to Saudi Arabia, even Ronaldo. So, but the landscapes really are astonishing.
Yeah.
That's no way they didn't
Exactly,
compromise on that.
We don't know how huge is a country and how beautiful is the landscape, because they have a little bit of everything.
And it is
they have
amazing,
the rock
amazing,
mountains.
amazing.
They have full deserts. They have, and talking about sim racing, it's quite funny as Porsche's company Sabra Porto, that I have already interviewed here on the channel. They made an amazing job because they put all the desert from Saudi Arabia in the game. So when you are in free roam mode, you can go all over the desert, and it's quite beautiful. It's really good. And if you have to choose one Dakar livery, which one is your favorite?
Oh, that's a hard one. It needs to be one of the Peugeots.
Peugeot with a camel.
But I'm not sure if that's a camel or it's the other one. We did both.
Because Ari Vatman had with the Pioneer, the blue, white,
like the T16,
and red from
the 205.
Peugeot. Yeah, and after we have with the camel.
To be honest, that's what I remember. I think
probably I would say
the most beautiful is the 969 with the Rotmans.
It's what I want to say to you. The Porsche with the Jackie X.
Jackie X is such. I saw him in Goodwood. He's such a cool guy. It's. I had the photo of him just resting by the Porsche, and when he broke or something like that, it's just amazing. So it needs to be that one because Porsche did some crazy things, and that one's one of them.
Talking about Goodwood, so you guys are selling on Goodwood too, having any stand there?
We have a partner.
Okay.
We have partners in England, in France, that does all the main races. So Goodwood, both Goodwoods, Silverstone, all of that, and also Le Mans. So we have partners that do that. We don't focus on retailing. We do wholesale, and that's where we're growing.
Okay, that's beautiful.
And we have very good partners, and we visit them I visited the Festival of Speed, and for me, it was like Disneyland. I was struck from.
Yeah, I wanted to go this year, but the health was not on the best conditions, so I could not go. But next year we go. I said to Christina, we go.
I'm missing the revival that I wanted to go this
Okay.
year, but it's not possible. So I'm surely doing the revival next year. And Le Mans. Le Mans, it's been 5 years since I wanted to go. It's not. I have some. We have some trade fairs at the same time, so it's very hard for me to get.
Okay.
But I need to save the date, so just tell my wife I'll be 2 weeks off. But it's
To be
very hard.
fair, when we was speaking and you said that you have to go away for 2 weeks, I was expecting that you guys been on Le Mans on that period of time. My main idea was, okay, probably they have to go to Le Mans because they have the stand, they have the socks with the 100 years centenary. So
No, we had two trade fairs. Yeah, we had two trade fairs, one in Italy and one in Germany, and it was impossible just to be there.
So go back now to the question that I made it about exactly business first. Sim racing. What is your thoughts about sim racing?
I have a huge problem with sim racing, and I'll tell you. I don't have much time. I like to
Yep.
do outdoors stuff. And the last time I played the game, I think it was Urban Terror, something like that in college. And I spent about 3 months just playing the game and doing nothing more. So I could play for 10 hours. So I'm a very addictive person like that. And sim racing, it's just too dangerous for me because
Okay.
I can put the money, but then I don't have the time, or I'll create a lot of problems. So I'm now 45, and one of the things I learned in life is you cannot do everything. And I chose to
Yep.
do, for me, it's off. I have an off-road enduro bike, and it's doing off-road with my motorcycle. That's what I really, really love.
Okay.
That's what I like. And I need to put all my spare time into that because I have two kids and a company, and it's not time for everything. But I do love all computer games, and I think the evolution of sim racing. I would go crazy if I have a rally sim and not to play it. So I prefer to do it the light thing, but it's a lot less scary.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes it will be hard. And so, and sim racing and Hiltre. How you guys gonna join the sim racing community? How are we gonna work?
We had a lot of followers because it makes total sense as you usually sim race only with your socks or with bare feet.
Exactly.
And we discovered that in Twitch. I did never heard about Twitch when we started getting some requests for sponsorship, and then we sponsored some cool kids that now huge. Like for example, when Super GT asked for the first sponsorship was about 4 years ago, and now it's huge. And we have a lot of other ones. So it's a big compromise. On top of it, the games bet also on old classic vintage liveries. So it's a very good partnership, and we are trying to create some special gaming or sim racing socks that have some kind of rubber to help with the pedals and everything. And we are
Okay.
testing that to see if we can create some of them. It's not that easy, and we have many challenges, and we need to focus on designing new build interesting stuff. But it's something that we want to do, and the community is growing so fast, and it makes me really happy that younger kids, at least, they don't see the cars on TV, but they see it through gaming, and they really appreciate and like the old school motorsports that changed a lot in the past 20 years due to security and whatever.
Yeah, and you see probably uh, we will never remember some cars from the past, and the new generation will forget them. And I think with sim racing, a lot of the new generation start knowing more about uh, classic Formula Ones and classic vintage GT cars, and even classic rally cars, because they appear on the games and they start knowing a little bit more about them, and they can drive them and they can enjoy them. So it's a win-win. And what is your thoughts? You think sim racing will ever be close to the motorsport in terms of community, in terms of followers?
Oh, that's a tough question. it could be even bigger because unless motorsports, and I think they will find a solution like Formula One found, and they are really being interesting because they own also Formula E, so they also want to see the future on their side. But when we're young, there's Formula One, number one motorsport in the world, Rally number two, and then all the other ones, BTCC, touring cars, Le Mans, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sim racing could be huge. The thing is, it costs a little bit more. So having how much does it decent sim cost? The hardware about 1,000 euros or even less.
Uh, n- now, for example, you can get the Fanatec, just the
Okay.
wheelbase for 200 euros, and after you just get pedals and you get the wheelbase. So if for 500, around 500, 600 euros, you already can have a good system to have it. And of course, you need a PC. You need it's an expensive hobby, as we can call it, but more and more people start using it.
Now the gaming is getting bigger and bigger.
I would say that Riyadh now had a esport competition with Rensport, and the total prize money was 1 million. So it's a lot of money coming there. There's a lot of money coming there. So
Okay.
I don't know if they will surpass motorsport in terms of sponsorship. Probably because it's going to be easy for sponsorship. A sim racing competition, a sim racing car.
I think one doesn't live without the other. To be honest, yeah. To be honest, one cannot live without the other. So you only get
No, yeah, that's true. Without motorsports, we don't have cars. Yeah.
yeah, and people don't get inspired. So I think if I was a young kid buying a sim and I was good at it, I think okay, there's a true chance that if I'm really good in this, I could get in real motorsports. And that wasn't available
Okay.
in our time. I remember the only thing I could do regarding it, there's a Fiesta trophy that you could apply and you go to a track and have, if you have a decent time, you can go and get onto the next level with Ford. But the thing is, you always needed a lot of money or a huge, incredible amount of talent, bigger than the others, to be good in motorsport. And now it's not true. Talent can put you ahead a lot easier. Um, but it's a lot different. You can be the best sim racing in the world, but if you don't have the balls to do it on the track, it's not going to work. And
That's true.
and it's a big difference to
That's true.
crash a car in a sim and even crashing a car. I'm not saying crashing 100, but crashing when you're fighting for an apex or something like that. It's really really different. And I learned that because off road you always have fear because you can hit trees, you don't know what's coming up, and it's all a big risk. But I always felt that track motorsport would be a little bit different. But then I did the full day on a Caterham on Estoril with my friend Bernardo Bello, and he was teaching me. And it gets really really scary when you're doing 220 on the straight with a small car just sitting 2 inches from the tarmac. And I'm not a guy that gets scared really easily, but yeah, so respect to all guys that do motorsports on track. Yeah.
I agree with you. I think when we are on the sim, like I have here behind me, you just sit down and you don't have the fear of going for the apex, of missing a corner. It's just you mix it, you press the button, restart, you do it again. And I think a lot that's going to be a problem passing that your skills from sim racing that are good to the real life and adapted to have beat the fear of missing an apex or controlling yourself, controlling your emotions, because sometimes that's the difference of a good driver is knowing to control his emotions. I think we see that is Verstappen is when he learned how to control his emotions was when he take his mass exponent from him because he'd been in Formula One for so many years when he started as young, and you could see that his emotions sometimes was overpassing him, and he was not making the right decisions. And when he passed that part, he's a machine now. Whatever we like it or not, he is a bloody machine.
And we don't.
He's a great, yeah, yeah. He's no way that you can say to him. But to finish the podcast, let me go to some fire questions. Something quickly, just knowing your favorite car, your favorite, what you like to do, and everything. It's going to be really, really fast. To start it, favorite sock.
Oh, it's the Magnus Walker tartan socks. So we have a tartan pack inspired by the seats of the Porsche 930 in the 70s. They're all classic Scottish tartans. And
Okay.
Magnus Walker put one crazy one on one of his cars. That was not an official Porsche, but we did the sock anyway, and it's my favorite. Yeah, it's still my
Okay.
favorite. It's hard. It's very hard to choose one. I have too many socks.
If you could do one sock without any problems, which one would be?
As much as I hate Verstappen, it would be a Red Bull sock
Okay.
because I'm not a fan of Red Bull, but they put everything with the Red Bull logo on it
He's a
is
seller.
10% cooler.
Yeah. And he's a seller there. I think Red Bull is
It's a seller.
is a
That's
martini.
any guy in motorsport who has a Red Bull. It's a new martini. It's a new martini. Yeah. And my second choice would be Martini Racing socks. Yeah, well, that would be my second choice. But everyone who has a Red Bull helmet is an accomplished crazy.
If you have to choose one car and one track, what would be? Or even rally or
Oh, okay, if it's a track, it would be the. I love the McLaren F1. It's the craziest car ever, and I love Gordon Murray. So
okay.
it would be a T50 on what kind of track? What's my favorite track? I remember when I played Formula One when I was a kid on games, and it needs to be Spa or Estoril. I love the Estoril also, and I know Estoril. So no, it could be no. It's a T50. Oh, no. It's T50 here in the Algarve. That's my favorite circuit, and it's so cool. And yeah, and I think it's the one I know better.
Okay.
My favorite rally car is. I think I would need to go with the Integrale Evolution and do any part of the Portuguese rally, the Lausanne Serra, the Lausanne Specials, because our factory is in the Lausanne, so it makes double. It's double pleasure for me.
I didn't know your factory is from Lausanne. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
from Coimbra, so it's funny.
You're from Coimbra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's between Lausanne and Miranda do Corvo.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Well, was the idea that was be around Lisbon, somewhere. To be fair, I didn't Google.
We have two. That's the main one is in Lausanne.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the main one is in Lausanne. The other ones are in the north.
All right. That's beautiful. And now that you talk about Paris Dakar, if you have to do Paris Dakar, which type of car you love to do it?
No, this is the wrong answer I have. If I had the time to prepare, so it would be about 5 years just doing that full time, I would do it on a motorcycle.
Motorcycle?
Because I talked, on a motorcycle. Because I talked with, I exchanged some emails with I forgot his name. The guy that did also with Cyril. No, it's not Cyril. With Depré. Yeah, with Cyril Depré. And I was saying he was doing the Dakar on a car that year, and I was saying, oh, great, it was just a little bit less tiring doing that on a car instead. The heat is so crazy that it was almost better doing on a motorcycle. I would do on a motorcycle, but if I need to choose a car, it would be in the Dakar Classic. It's a very hard answer.
It's so many choices.
I would do on Carlos Souza pickup. It was the Nissan or the Toyota? I don't recall.
I think Nissan. He had different ones.
Nissan, and they were so cool.
Yeah, I think it was Nissan because he had different, but he had
with a short wheelbase. Yeah. Let me just Google that. Okay. It was a Mitsubishi.
Mitsubishi.
We failed.
Oh.
Yeah, what's a Mitsubishi? Yeah. I would do that on the
Yeah, because
Mitsubishi. Yeah. On top of it, I had a Pajero when I was young. Yeah.
I think the heat probably will be the big problem on doing in cars. But I think motorcycle is so dangerous, and they have to be so precise because you need to read your compass, read the map, drive. Yeah, man, it is.
That's a challenge. Yeah. I love the navigation part. Yeah.
Try. I know it's going to be hard, but try the Desert Dakar Rally game made by the Portuguese company Sabraporto. As because they have the chance that the chance of you, yeah, of you go it with the map, and you need to read the map while you're driving. And we after we do that is when you realize how difficult it is for them doing that principle when they are on motorbike, and you don't have anyone say to you go on the 350 angle for 1 kilometer and cut it on the rock. So you have to do it on a motorbike. You need to know it and read it, and the speed they take it is unbelievable.
I cannot do it. I cannot do it. I will not do it because it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous.
I know
My
it is
wife would kill
because
me.
luckily my wife now started enjoy it sim racing, and she started embrace it a little bit more. But on beginning she was a little bit, why you have this one, why why you sit down in a chair. I say just try it, and after she started trying and change a little bit. But yeah, but she's different age. She's young, so they have a different mentality of seeing what is video games and the possibility of video games.
If I do it, my divorce, yeah, a divorce would be 50% likely if I pick that up. I'm 100% sure.
I imagine. Gonçalo, for my part, is everything. Would be a pleasure having you here with me. Thank you so much for
Okay.
joining me and sharing a little bit what is the insides of Hiltre.
This is always a lot of fun. So thank you for inviting me. And I always feel in these types of podcasts, feeling that we could talk for hours. So cars is just a polarizing theme, and there's so many things we can talk about. That's why I'm lucky, and I have the best job in the world I could imagine, and
I
it's so
agree.
much
I
fun.
agree.
And thank you for all our customers that made this possible, and all people that worked with us and helped us. And it's been one hell of the ride, and I think we're going 6 years to be 6 years in September. So, and time flies. Yeah.